भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। श्रीकृष्ण भगवान की जय।
चिन्तितार्थ प्रदचरणारविन्दं मुकुन्दं चिन्तितार्थ प्रदचरणारविन्दं मुकुन्दं चेत श्रीबालकृष्णं भज रे। नूतन नीरद सदृश शरीरं नन्दकिशोरं। नूतन नीरद सदृश शरीरं नन्दकिशोरं। पीतवसनधरं कम्बुकन्धरं गिरिधरं। पीतवसनधरं कम्बुकन्धरं गिरिधरं। पूतनादि संहारं पुरुषोत्तमावतारं। पूतनादि संहारं पुरुषोत्तमावतारं। शीतलहृदयविहारं श्रीरुक्मिणीदारं। शीतलहृदयविहारं श्रीरुक्मिणीदारं चेत श्रीबालकृष्णं भज रे। नवनीत गन्धवाः वदनं मृदुगदनं। नवनीत गन्धवाः वदनं मृदुगदनं। नलिनपत्रनयनं वटपत्रशयनं। नलिनपत्रनयनं वटपत्रशयनं। नवचम्पकनासिकम् अधसि सुमभासकम् नवचम्पकनासिकम् अधसि सुमभासकम् नतेन्द्रादि लोकपालकं मृगमद तिलकम् नतेन्द्रादि लोकपालकं मृगमद तिलकम् नवतुलसीवनमालं नारदादिमुनिजालं नवतुलसीवनमालं नारदादिमुनिजालं कुवलयादिपरिपालं गुरुगुहनुतगोपालं कुवलयादिपरिपालं गुरुगुहनुतगोपालं चेत श्री बालकृष्णं भज रे चिन्तितार्थ प्रदचरणारविन्दं मुकुन्दं चेत श्री बालकृष्णं भज रे
नमः परमऋषिभ्यो नमः परमऋषिभ्यः हरिः ओम् अन्तरायतिमिरूपशान्तये शान्तपावनमचिन्त्य वैभवम् तन्नरं वपुषि कुञ्जरं मुखे मन्महे किमपि तुन्दिलं महः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनीं व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। यस्यान्तन्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नामगोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो नानपुंसं न च स्त्रीं नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वं नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वरिशिष्टान्तेव सदर्शिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय यतये शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादिनगेन्द्रसङ्घभवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रतीं तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने अपारसच्चित्सुखवारिराशेः यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहिदं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। देहं मृण्मयवज्जडात्मकमहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो मरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्नाम् अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। कस्मै येन विभासितो यमतुलो ज्ञानप्रदीपः पुराम् तद्रूपेण च नारदाय मुनये कृष्णाय तद्रूपिणाम् योगीन्द्राय तदात्मनाथ भगवद्राताय कारुण्यतः तच्छुद्धं विमलं विशोकममृतं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवतं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैः ईश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिस्तक्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबद भागवतं रसम् आलयं मुहुरहो रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेदि तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिम् आनतोऽस्मि। यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतितितीर्षदां तमोन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ध्येयं सदा परिभवग्नमभीष्टदोहं तीर्थास्पदं शिवविरिञ्जिनुतं शरण्यं भृत्यार्तिहं प्रणतपालभवाब्धिपूतं वन्दे महापुरुषते चरणारविन्दम्। यां यां दिशं भजति किं पुरुषाख्यवर्षे संसेवितो हनुमता दृढभक्तिभाजां सीताभिरामपरमाद्भुतरूपशालीं रामात्मकः परिलसन् परिपाहि विष्णु। There is a Bhagavata Stuti in the Malayalam language, which is called as Bhagavata Tivandi. Tivandi means train. So our train is running very fast because our time is very limited. So we take only the cream, the essence. Yesterday we saw the Ashtama Skandha, and the last chapter I just mentioned about the Matsyavatara. We just know that Bhagavan came as the divine fish, the Matsya. And gave teaching to the sages and also to the king Satyavrata. Pralayapaya siddhantuhu supta shakter mukhebhyah shrutiganampanitam pratyupadattahatva didicham agathayadyo brahma satyavratanam tamaham akhilahetum jimhameenam natosmi. It is a jimhameena. It's not a real meena, real matsya. Just appearance as a matsya, because that matsya is Chaitanya Swarupa. So there some beautiful verses come. Yesterday I mentioned one verse where the king is worshipping Lord as Matsya, but as the Sadguru. The very first verse is the essence of Vedanta Shastra. Anadi avidyopahatatma samvida tanmula samsara parishramaturah yadrichayehopasrita yamapnuyuhu vimuktido naha paramo gurur bhavan. Gur bhavan paramaha guruhu. You are the supreme guru, O Lord. There that king says a man cannot be a guru to another man. It is Bhagavan himself who is manifesting through a human body as the Guru Tattvam to transmit this experience from heart to heart. Tene Brahma Hrida. And the suffering for us in this world is due to doership and enjoyership, kartrutva and bhoktrutva. And the cause for that kartrutva is nothing but ignorance about our real nature. And when did that ignorance begin? That avidya. Says there is no time for it. Anadi avidyopahatatma samvida. By that anadi avidya, the atma samvit, our real nature is veiled. We are not able to know, even though the self is experienced by all as their very existence, as their very I, yet this confusion between the body and self is there. This mixing up of light and darkness is there. Satyanarte mithuni kritya ahamidam mamedam, as Shankaracharya says. So here, when the Guru comes, he points out to the heart and tells him what you experience within you as I. It's not the body, it's not the mind, it's not the ego, it's not the individual sense, the senses or anything else. It is that pure consciousness. Stay there. Recognize it. And that Mahavakya instantaneously gives that pratyabhijna, that recognition of the self to the Shrota, the listener. And such a recognition, such a Atmabodha happens like this, Yadrichaya. You didn't expect to meet him. So you suddenly come across him by some Purva Punya. And he appears before you. Because always for innumerable lives he was within you, whispering the same truth. But you failed to listen. When your suffering was sufficient to bring him manifest, then he manifested outside and told you, look within. It all looks very... The mind is going out. A force is necessary, it should come out and tell you, look within. From without, he pushes the mind inward, and from the heart, that same Chit Shakti pulls the mind inward and makes it absorbed in the heart, in the real self. When that Atmanubhuti happens, the Shishya recognizes the Guru also as the Satchidananda Vastu. All the great masters, they never said, we are the Guru. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi never said, yes, I am your Guru. But the Shishya can have that bhava. Sri Ramakrishna always used to say, Satchidananda is the Guru. Satchidananda is the Guru. And yet they were the supreme Gurus, supreme masters. And through them that transmission happened. So here he says, a ignorant, arrogant human being thinks that he is the Guru. Jano abudho yam nijakarma bandhanaha achakshuhu andhasya yathagranihi kritaha. The famous Upanishadic statements, andhenaiva niyamana yatha andhaha. And the same Upanishad mantra is put here. I already told that Ashtamaskanda is full of Upanishads. It says, achakshuhu andhasya yathagranihi kritaha. Blind people, they made another blind person as their Guru. And the logic is, this blind person says, the difficulty of a blind man will be understood only by a blind man, so I will show you the route. And how they will go and suffer like that, Jano achakshuhu andhasya yathagranihi kritaha tatha janasya abudhasya abudho guruhu. For the ignorant person becomes Guru and they never attain anything. But when Bhagavan comes and he reveals the real nature, that instantaneously that anubhuti happens, that sakshatkara happens. Actually, when the anubhuti comes, naturally the disciple recognizes that the master in front of him is Parabrahma Vastu. In Ramanashramam, the Ganeshana is here, is written about that story. It's a very old lady who came to Maharshi when she was perhaps 30, 40, but was a young widow. She was married when she was 9 or 10 and widowed at the age of 12. But by her elder brother was very affectionate. He taught her all the Vedanta Shastra in Tamil. And they had a Tirtha Yatra. On the way, they came to Ramanashram and met the Maharshi. And there she recognized, whatever I have read, whatever I have known, that mighty principle is here before me. And she just surrendered and started serving in the ashram. I am making the story very brief. And in the kitchen she was serving. She already had the thorough knowledge of the Vedanta. The Tamil Vedanta Granthas are there, all in the Tamil, like we have in Hindi also. So she was very thorough about that, but there was a lingering doubt in the mind. Because inwardly it was peaceful, no vikshepa, scattering, no doubt, but the only lingering doubt is whether this is that state, or I should make some more effort, do something. One day, she saw the Maharshi standing in the kitchen alone. Nobody was there. She went near the sage and did a namaskara and sang a song from Kaivalya Navanitam, which was a Tamil Vedanta Grantha, where the disciple tells the master, "O Lord, you were following me from birth after birth, you were with me in my heart, and I missed you. And now you have come before me to give me liberation. You have bestowed me that state where I am one with the truth. Now I don't know what pratikriya, what can I do you in exchange, what I can give you other than doing a namaskara." And she did a pranama. The Tamil song is very beautiful. "Ayyane, Ananta Janmangal, Enadule Yanai Anda Mayyane, Upadeshikya Velivanda Guruve Potri, Uyave Muktinalhum Udavikki or Udavi Nayen Shayumarundrum Kanen Tiruvadi Potri Potri." I just do namaskara pranams at your feet. Then Maharshi, Bhagavan Ramana, just smiled and said, "The answer for that is there in the next verse." Said. He didn't mention the verse. He said the answer is in the next verse. The next verse is, "Shishyan ivvaru kura." When the disciple expressed his gratitude like this, "Deshikan mahilundu nokki." The Guru, with so much compassion, looked at the disciple and said, "Kittavayanave alaithu." Come near me, he said. "Dushtamam tadaigal moondrum todarada vannam, Swarupajnana nisthana irupayagil, ni shayyum udaviyame." The only Guru Dakshina that you can give is without getting into the trap of doubt, ignorance, or misapprehension. These are the three flaws. Abide as the self. Abide in that state. Become an Atmanishtha. That is the Guru Dakshina that you can give. That was all. So such things, when you live with a great master, it is like living near fire. You get lit inwardly. So here, in this Matsyavatara Stuti, Bhagavan Vyasa gives us the essence of Guru Tattvam. That is the last chapter in Ashtama Skandha. Now we enter we will touch the 9th canto, the Navama Skandha. I told you about the Bhagavata train. Actually, this Navama Skandha is called Bhagavata train because it gives a long list of he is his son, he is his son, he is his son. And when you go on reading, the Parayanam looks like a train. Tatastatsutaha, 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 tatsutaha, tatastatsutaha, tatsutaha. Like that it comes. Tatsutaha means his son. Tataha, tatsutaha, then his son. Like that, tatsutaha, tatastatsutaha, tatsutaha. Exactly it will look like a train. So this is Navama Skandha. In that Navama Skandha, we will take only the essence, the cream. All of us know the story of Ambarisha. The great king was a great bhakta. And that bhakta was born in the family of a great yogi, a jnani, who received Brahmopadesha directly from Mahadeva. He was Nabhaga. And Nabhaga's son was Ambarisha. Generally we know Ambarisha's story, everyone would have heard. But this story hides behind it. That Sakshat Shiva appeared before his father and gave him Jnanam Brahma Sanatanam. He was a mantra drashta, but Shiva told him, Dadami te mantra drishe Jnanam Brahma Sanatanam. You have attained that mantra darshana, now I transmit to you Brahma Jnana also. So, it is not that simply Ambarisha came out of nowhere. He came in the family of a Brahmavit. He was the son of a Brahmajnani, and we know the story, so I am not going to narrate the story now because we have to rush to the 10th skandha. Ambarisha was a great bhakta. His story is another example like Rishabhadeva for the Gita shloka where Bhagavan says, Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayaha. Bhagavan quoted only Janaka. Many have remained in the field of action, performing action, at the same time they were established in the higher awareness. One example was Janaka, another example was Rishabhadeva, and Ambarisha was also another example. He was a king, an emperor, and he had so much wealth. He was not a poor person like Kuchela. He had so many palaces, so many wealth, treasure. Griheshu, he was married. You know, sometimes kings will have many wives. Griheshu, Dareshu, Suteshu, Bandhushu, Dvipottama Syandana Vaji Pattishu, Akshaya Ratna Abharana Ayudhadishu, Ananta Kosheshu. Ananta Kosha means inexhaustible wealth. In that, Akarot Asanmatim. He just considered them as all unreal. As Sri Ramakrishna said, that gold and mud all same. He just, many spiritual experiments he have done. Once he took a coin in his hand and some mud in his another hand and said both are same and threw them in Ganga. So, Ashma Kanchanaha, as Gita Bhagavan says, all same. Like that. In Ambarisha also remained like that. That is why he was ever established in Bhagavan and he followed the Bhakti Marga. For him, Bhagavan gave that Sudarshana Chakra. Sudarshana means, actually it is Jnanam. Sudarshana is Jnanam, by which you completely surrender to Bhagavan, that Ananya Sharana. Then, as we saw yesterday, what Bhagavan told Mahabali, Rakshishye sarvatoham tvam, sanugam saparichatam, sada sannihitam vira, tatramam drakshyate bhavan. I will protect you, you will feel my presence, you will see me wherever you want. That kind of protection from Bhagavan is his Sudarshana Chakra. So, we know the story how Durvasa came. He was also a great sage. He wanted to show the greatness of Ambarisha to the world. So he just did a drama and he made himself low to reveal the glory of Ambarisha. As he went to Vaikuntha, Vishnu, Bhagavan Narayana told Durvasa, you know one secret? Sadhavo hridayam mahyam. I want only to take this verse now. Bhagavan told him, Sadhavo hridayam mahyam, sadhunam hridayam tu aham. Madanyate na jananti, naham tebhyo managapi. You know one secret. If you want to meet me, you can meet me in the heart of a devotee. I'm seeing Swamiji, I am reminded more about Ramakrishna's examples. Where Sri Ramakrishna says, the heart of a devotee is the meeting place of Bhagavan. If you want to meet a great man, you go to his house. There will be a special room where you can meet him. They will say, sit there. he will come there. Then, like that, you want to see Bhagavan, how to see? Shankaracharya says in Shivananda Lahari, where can I see Shiva? Bhakteshu prakatita phalabhyam. He will manifest in a bhakta. He will manifest in the heart of a devotee as bhava bhakti. You can feel God. You can feel the presence, that sannidhya mahima. Then you see, here is God. So here, Bhagavan tells Durvasa, take for this, that this is the essence. I live in the heart of devotees. And devotees, they live in my heart. They do not know anything other than me. A devotee's greatness is, he knows only Bhagavan, nothing else. And Bhagavan says, you know, I will tell you my secret. I also do not know anything else. I know only my bhakta. I am his bhakta. He is my bhakta. How did this happen? And Bhagavan said, Vashi kurvanti mam. They just attract me. They keep me under their control as a chaste wife does with her husband. Sat striyaha sat patim yatha. Like a sat stri, a chaste wife, a charitravati. Even Divine Mother is called, her pativratyam is Sada Shiva Pativrataye Namah. Like that, this bhakta is a pativrata and his pativratyam is with me. Hence, I will be always follow him. I will be always following him. So, that was the secret revealed by Bhagavan. If bhakti is there, Vaikuntha is here. As Tukaram says, if Nama is there, Mukhi Nama, Hati Moksha. As he says, I have the Nama of Vithala in my lips, and the heart there is his meditation, and Moksha is in my hand. Vaikuntha is here. So that kind of bhakti, if it is there, Bhagavan is so simple. Bhagavan is available here. Vaikuntha is available here. After that, in Navamaskandha, we see so many stories. And Ramavatara was described in 2 chapters. Surya Vamsha was elaborately told. Then Chandra Vamsha was also told, Yadu Vamsha. And in the end, Shukacharya condensed Krishnavatara in few verses and stopped. It is just a test to Parikshit. How he is enjoying, whether he wants to listen more, or he said, pravachan ho gaya. It stopped. That kind of listeners, that kind of shrotas, they are useless. That Shravana must go entire day and night. Now Parikshit is going to say that. Hamsa swagatam pibabayo bruhyanga shaureh katam. Very beautiful verse. He says, Hey Hamsa Swagatam, Hey Paramahamsa Swagatam Asyatam. Be seated. Generally it happens so, sometimes some Bhagavata Saptaha is over. Some devotees will say, Swami, please come to our house, let your holy feet touch our house. All those words they will use. Say, I am rushing to the railway station or airport. We don't have time. We will say, no, only few minutes. We will not make you late. 1 minute, you come there, take a sip of milk, you can go. And when we go there, they would have arranged a chair, some cloth will be spread out, sit there, bring milk. By the time we drink the milk, 10 of them will be sitting in front. And they will say few words about Bhagavan. That is pictured here. Say few words. And they know our weakness because we don't know how to stop. You don't know how to stop. So, Hamsa Swagatamasyatam Pibapayah Bruhyanga Shaurehe Katham. When the Katha is narrated, that bhakti, that samadhi bhava, it's samadhi bhava. In that samadhi bhava, Shukacharya is telling the stories. He is in bhava samadhi is speaking. Yallabdhva puman matto bhavati, stabdo bhavati, tripto bhavati, atmaramo bhavati. In that bhava sthiti is narrating the stories, and Parikshit is drinking that nectar day and night. And here Parikshit says, "Oh Lord, why did you stop? I am waiting to hear Krishna Katha. I am waiting to hear Krishna's stories. Bhagavat Katha, Kathito Vamsha Vistaraha, Bhavata Soma Suryayo, Ratnyam Chobhaya Vamshyanam, Charitam Paramadbhutam, Yadosha Dharmashilasya, Nitaram Munisattama, Tatram Shenavatirnasya, Vishnur Viryani Shamsanaha. Vishnur Viryani Kathaya. As Vedas themselves say, Vishnur Viryani. Expound the Leelas of Bhagavan, by listening to which I will forget the world. It is a potion with which you can dissolve the world. It is a potion with which you can melt the world. When you have Bhagavan Nama, Bhakti, Bhava, the world just gets dissolved. There is no world. When there is a very interesting anecdote about Sri Ramakrishna. One day he was in ecstasy, in Samadhi Bhava. One person who was in habit of drinking, he was an addict. He came and saw Ramakrishna in that state. And he thought, this is very good. Now no wine is getting this much lahari kick. But this person is so much into that state. So he went to Ramakrishna. His name was Kalipada Ghosh. He asked Ramakrishna, Thakur, he asked, what kind of drink is this that you get so much lahari? Is it foreign or Indian made? Ramakrishna said, it is pure village stuff. You take it once and your entire life you will be in inundation, in ecstasy. Yallabdva sagradadana vidhuta dvandva dharma vinashtaha bhavaya vihangaha bhikshucharyam charanti. As Bhagavata puts it, that sakradadana vidhuta dvandva dharma vinashtaha. Once you take it, sakradadana means once. Sakrida also means complete. Sakridadana vidhuda dvandva dharma vinashtaha. The moment it goes within, all the dvandva dharmas, cold, heat, good, bad, everything goes away and you are in lahari. That is why Shankaracharya said Shivananda lahari, Saundarya lahari, Ananda lahari. That unmada comes. And all, what does it dissolve? It dissolves the world, it dissolves the body, it dissolves the ego. All the problems are gone. So in that state, Shukacharya is telling the stories and he says, Bhagavan, please, Parikshit asks him, tell us that stories. Even we can see all the yatis, monks, those who have renounced everything for God, they are all sitting with love to Bhagavan. That is the greatness of Bhagavatam. Nivirtatarshairupagiyamanat bhavaushadhat shrotramanobhiramat kavuttama gunanuvadad puman virajyeta vina pashugnat. Those who are nivirtatarsha, their trishna is gone, their desire is gone, they have nothing to attain, achieve in this world. They have renounced everything and they sing about Bhagavan. They listen about Bhagavan and they have no other desire. Bhava Aushadha. This Bhagavata Purana or Vedanta Jnana is not a teaching, it is not a philosophy, it is a medicine. As a medicine gives you cure, like that, this is a medicine. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi tells, pointing to Arunachala, he says, this is not a hill, this is a medicine for lunacy, for insanity. Paithiya marundu. In Tamil it says Paithiya marundu. If you take this medicine, it goes inside. The sign, the symptom of abnormality is already there in us as our mind, constantly thinking, image making, desires, ego, arrogance. That mind becomes quiet, subsides. Very easily that samadhi state comes to you and you are not drinking this asava through your mouth, you take it through your ears. Shrotra, and through Shrotra it goes and purifies the mind. Bhavaushadhat Shrotra manobhiramat. Tell us, O Lord, about Krishna. You know who is Krishna? Shukacharya asked Parikshit. Yes, Bhagavan. By the grace of Krishna, my Pitamahas, my grandfather Arjuna heard Gita from him. By his grace, they won the war in Kurukshetra Bhumi. Pitamaha me samare maranjayihi. It is not an ordinary war field. It was like an ocean filled with big creatures. Big whales like Devavrata, Bhishma, the mighty warrior. Even that war field was safely crossed by my grandfathers by the grace of Bhagavan. Oh, you have only indirect knowledge about Krishna. You have not directly met him. No, Bhagavan. Even before seeing the face of my mother, I had the vision of Krishna in her womb. Draunyastrā viplushtam idam madangam santana bijam kuru pandavanam jugopa kukshingata atta chakraha matushameya sharanam gataya. My mother went and surrendered to Krishna, crying Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate. And to him Krishna said, Abhayam, Abhayam, be fearless, I will protect the child. Because of my mother's bhakti, I had vision of Krishna in the Garbhapatra. Because Parikshit's mother surrendered, the son got Brahma Vidya. As Shankaracharya often quotes, Matruman, Pitruman, Acharyavan Veda. First the Guru is Mata, then Pita, then you go to the Acharya. That is the right stream, right way, right parampara. So here, my mother was my first Guru. She went and surrendered. In the Panchamaskanda, I forgot to mention that. When Parikshit heard the story of Rishabhadeva and Jadabharata, Shukacharya, he was becoming more a devotee of the devotee. When Parikshit was listening with so much bhakti, he coined a name for Parikshit and called him Uttara Mata. He said, you have got Uttara as your mother. By her grace, you are now listening to this. So, my dear Parikshit, you have had a vision of Bhagavan. Yes, Bhagavan. Not only that, now after listening to this 9 skandha, I am facing death right before me. Now it is crystal clear that this body is anitya, asukha, dukkha. Everywhere death is roaming about in this world. You open your eyes, whatever you behold is one form of death. And if I close my eyes, the mind goes inward and has the experience of the Atmavastu, the self within. It is Amrita. Outside it is Mrityu, and inwardly in the heart it is Amrita. Amritam chaiva mrityuscha. So here Parikshit says, very beautiful, very profound shloka. It is not Shukacharya's, it is Parikshit's. He says, Viryani tasya khila deha bhajam antarbahi purushakala rupaihi prayachato mrityum uta amritam cha maya manushyasya vadasva vidvan. Outwardly it is mrityu, inwardly it is amrita. Outwardly it is kala, time. Inwardly it is timelessness, consciousness. Outwardly it is master, guru, and inwardly it is Chaitanya. So this is the sequence. Acharya Chaitya Vapusha Swagatim Vyanakti. Outwardly it is Acharya, in the heart it is Chaitanya. Thus the spiritual alchemy happens. The transformation takes place. So here this Katha begins. When Parikshit, Shukacharya just looked at him. Don't you want to take some water? Some food? You have not eaten anything. You have not drank water even. Parikshit says, no, Lord. Otherwise, I will take thrice or 4 times. But today, when I am listening to you, no hunger, no thirst. Naishati dussaha kshunmam Tyaktodamapi badhate pibantam tvanmukham bhojachyutam harikathamritam. I am drinking harikathamritam, the nectar of harikatha from you. And it just dissolves the body, dissolves the mind, dissolves the world. No hunger, no thirst, no waves of becoming here. Please tell me, O Lord, Bhagavat Katha. My time is very limited. Actually, Parikshit can say that death will not come to him for 7 days. But we cannot. They say, Nishvasa nahi vishvasa. You cannot have faith in this breath which goes out. There is no guarantee that it will come back. Still, we don't recognize the urgency of this quest, this spiritual seeking. So here, when Parikshit told this, Shukacharya said, he mentally took a flower and put it on Parikshit. All great masters, even in our parampara, Guru will do the worship of the disciple when he takes the Upadesha of Brahma Vidya. Here, Evam nishamya bhrigunandana sadhuvadam Vayasakissa bhagavan ata vishnuratham Pratyarcha krishna charitam kalikalmashagnam Vyahartumarabhata Bhagavata pradhana. That Shukacharya is Bhagavata pradhana. And this 10th skandha, Dashama skandha is Bhagavata pradhana. And he started narrating the stories there. Sandranandatano hare nanupura Daivasure sangare Tvatkrittapi karmashesha vashatah Yetena yata gatim Tesham Bhutala janmanam tasam bhutala janmanam diti bhuvam Bharena durarditam Bhumih prapa virinjam ashrita padam Devaihi purai vagataihi Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati. When there is a glani, when dharma, practicing dharma becomes difficult in a society, when negative elements gain more and more power, when human effort cannot by its own force transcend. Of course, in an individual's life, also avatara is needed. In the individual's life, when he is striving in spiritual life, in sadhana, he reaches a stage where all his efforts, all his striving gets blocked. He cannot go further. In that stage, the heart opens up and tears flow from the eyes. The longing comes, a call arises from the heart, and there also a avatara happens, and that avatara is what we call as kripa, as grace. It comes and fulfills that spiritual life. It's the confluence where the human effort comes in contact with the magnificence of grace, the mighty force that is grace. It just infuses, it just enters the human will. Suddenly you find that that will has become divine. That which you cannot do by your own flimsy will suddenly becomes possible. Renunciation happens like that. Sometimes great Mahatmas, they have renounced everything. Kshanad sangam utsrijya. Yo Krishna padambujam. Like that. One moment the renunciation comes. How come it comes? How is it possible? Because a touch of grace comes there. One moment that Siddhartha gave up everything, the kingdom, and walked out. That is grace. One moment this king Parikshit, just imagine our case. We have nothing to renounce, still thinking, planning. As Bhartrihari says, Dhanyastu sanyasyati. He gives up everything, goes to God. Dhanyanam girikantareshu vasatam. They go and stay in some hill, some caves. Jyotif param dhyayatam. Anandashrukanan pibandhi shakunaha nishangamangeshayah. But for us, sampraptam na pura na samprati na cha praptau dridhapratyayana vanchamarthara parigrahan api param tyaktum na shaktaha vayam. Only in the imagination possessions are there. I will get a lottery next year because my Jyotishi have told. So how to renounce? Nothing is there now to renounce. Still, that attachment is there. At the same time, some people, they renounce great amount of wealth. How do they do? It is certainly not the greatness of the human being. It is the touch of that other element, the grace. It comes and it just awakens the will, the paurusha. As in Bhagavan in Gita says, paurusham nrishu. I am the paurusha in the human mind. That paurusha is not simply the free will that we call. There is no freedom there for the ego. It is the will that is awakened by divine grace. That is how Swami Shivanji Maharaj renounced everything, a profession as a doctor, and came to this place when it was not like this. No comforts, and stayed in the banks of Ganga doing so much tapas, intense tapas. And that is sheer grace. And so too, collectively, in the world also the grace descends as avatara. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. When collective will becomes powerless, that cosmic will manifests as a divine form. Bhagavan said to Brahma, when all these devas, they went there and said, Bhagavan, please protect us. Asuras have become so many and so difficult. You have killed them in Ramavatara. They changed their dress and came through the other door. Because karmashesha vashataha, their vasanas are still there. They are there. Always they will be there. Because Devasura, Sanyata, Asan, always they will be there. So then Bhagavan said, don't fear. The time has come for me to come down. I will be born as the 8th son of Devaki and Vasudeva. You all devas, you also go and take janma in many places. Now let the marriage take place between Vasudeva and Devaki. And then Kamsa himself decided the marriage. Because as the karma carries the seeds of destruction in its own womb, Kamsa himself decided that marriage. His plan was to keep Vasudeva underneath, so that he can rule Vasudeva also. There were many clans, Boja, Vrishni, Andhaka, Shurasena. So he asked Vasudeva to marry his cousin sister Devaki. And after the marriage, he was taking the couple in the chariot. He himself was driving. See, all these politicians will do such dramas that people will say, see humility. He is not like what we thought. He is very humble. He himself is the driver. He is sitting in the driver's seat. Such a simple person is Kamsa. He said, okay. He has put his father in the jail. I don't think we can quote any other example in our Charitra who has put his father in jail other than in the Mughal dynasty. There every king ends his life in jail. Have a big rule. After that, jail. And his son will rule. So this is and I am very much doubting this Kamsa. I don't know whether he is Kamsa or some other name. He replaces, it becomes some other name. If it is in Tamil, I would have told, but it is in English, I am not telling. So, that is Kamsa's rule. So, he is here taking the couple suddenly on the road. From somewhere, a ashariri walk. Some voice was heard from the heavens. Fool, that was the If somebody calls you fool, if you turn back and look at it, it is certain. So from the sky there was a call, a abudha, fool. And only person who looked back is Kamsa. See, all these evil people, they do these things because they do not have self-respect. When the Shabda came, fool, Abudha, he looked back and nobody was seen. Only a voice which said, this eighth son of eighth Garbha, not even eighth son, eighth Garbha of Devaki is going to kill you. Asyastvam ashtamo garbha hantayam vahase abudha. All these people's story, you see, they want to avoid death. Actually, they are all mumukshus, but attempting in wrong places. We also are striving only to cross death, to go beyond death. Everyone is afraid of death. We want to be free of death, but they don't know how to do it. Suddenly the voice comes, you will die. He says, I will not die. I don't want to die. And then he caught hold of Devaki's hairs. She screamed, took the sword to cut her head. And then Vasudeva said, what are you doing in public? All people are looking, see. All your ministers are there. People who were saying Kamsa is a good man will now say you are a bad man. And you know death will visit anyone, everyone. And after death, another birth will come. It is just like going from one body to another, like changing a dress. Why are you attached to this body so much? But that Vedanta didn't work with him. Then he said, Vasudeva said, okay, I come to you, I will tell you, I will give you this promise that whenever a child is born, I will give you that child. You can kill that child. You don't want Devaki, you want only her son. Who knows, she might have a daughter or she will not give birth to children. We are not sure about this Ashariri Vak. So why fear? Then through time, Kamsa came down. Because he also understood the seriousness of the situation, that public is around. They are all looking at him. His name will get tarnished. So he took a decision and left it there and kept them in safe security. But even in such a situation, they had children. That is destiny. Bhagavan has to come. And the most sorrowful thing is, Kamsa has to wait till the 8. The punishment is not death. This stress, this tension, this BP that Kamsa will be undergoing after this, for him BP means Bhagavan's protection. It is not blood pressure. He will not die till Krishna comes. He will stay alive. Otherwise he could have died before. But he has to stay alive. He was not aware of that. So every child Vasudeva took to Kamsa. First Kamsa also became compassionate. But then he decided, Narada told him, confused him, because these children has to die. Then he killed every child. See, such sorrow is there in Krishna Avatara. We think Krishna Avatara means Ananda. Krishna tells in Gita, Nanu shochitum arhasi. Gita starts with that and ends with Ma shuchaha. No shoka. No more grief for you, no more sorrow for you. But Krishna's life, even before he was born, it was filled with sorrow. His father and mother, parents were inside jail. And all his elder brothers were murdered by that Kamsa. And they had to see that, undergo that pain. See, so much melting, burning is necessary for God to come. So much pain, they had to undergo such pain. Vipado naiva vipadaha, sampado naiva sampadaha. Vipad vismaranam Vishnoho, sampad narayana smritihi. You go through sorrow, suffering, so that Bhagavan can come to you. Dukkham yadyad anupraptam taporupena bhavayet. Na dukkham dukkhaya syat iti shruti matragihi. When dukkham comes, sorrow comes, misery comes to your life, take it as tapas to purify you, to body get purified, mind gets purified, nerves get purified. Then the sorrow ceases to be the sorrow. It becomes a tapasya. Some deeper cleansing happens through that. So here they suffered silently, waiting with Bhagavan in their heart. All the 6 children were killed. 6 of them were killed. And 7th Garbha happened. At that time, Kamsa was waiting. Suddenly that Garbha disappeared. It was transplanted, taken away from this Garbhapatra to Rohini's Garbhapatra in Gokulam. That Balarama Swami was born there as Rohini Tanaya, but here the Garbha disappeared. Kamsa was wondering whether I should calculate this or not. Already he is poor in maths. Because the story is there where Narada comes and confuses him about Devaganitam. Narada tells him Devas have a different arithmetics. They put a circle just like in the clock. In some clocks there will be everywhere only one line. And there is no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Formerly it was, some clocks were like that. So anywhere you can have any number. Suppose it is 12, you start from 1, the 12 becomes 12. If you start from 2, the 1 will become 12. Such things Narada spoke. And Kamsa got totally confused. Already he had very poor performance. Now very difficult. So he was wondering, asking all those his old teachers whether I should calculate this or not, because the Garbha disappeared. And then again the 8th Garbha happened. By the time Bhagavan called the Divine Mother, that Mahamaya. Narayani. And he told her to manifest everywhere. You go and take in many Shakti Peetam. Namadheyani kurvandi sthanani chanara bhuvi Durgeti Bhadrakaniti Vijaya Vaishnaviti cha Kumuda Chandika Krishna Madhavi Kanyaketi cha Maya Narayani Ishani Sharadeti Ambike Ticha. All these namas will be given to you, and you will get all puja everywhere. Go and be ready to receive me, because this Shakti is necessary to do the Avatara Karya. Be ready there. And that divine mother entered Yashoda's womb. This, we don't know why this kind of arrangement. And here Bhagavan, he did not directly enter Devaki. He entered the heart of Vasudeva. Bhagavan api Vishwatma Bhaktanam abhayam karaha Avivesha amsha bhagena Mana anakadundubhe. This anakadundubi, in our Shastras also, Garbha is 12 months. That is why in Ramavatara it is said, Tatascha dvadashe maase chaitre navamike tithau. Actually the Garbha is 12 months. 2 months, they say, father is carrying the Garbha. He is carrying that bija inside him, that first develops in him, then it enters the Garbhapatra of the mother. She then carries 10 months. The first Garbhabharat is the father, Pita. So here Vasudeva entered into a state of samadhi, and he was shining with so much radiance. Seeing his radiance, Kamsa decided Vishnu has entered. Sabibrat Paurusham Dhama. He shined like a temple of Mahapurusha, Narayana. Brajamano yathadavihi, yatha ravihi, durasadoti dudarsho bhutanam sambabhuvaham. Tato jagan mangalam achyudamsham samahitam shurasutena devi dadhara sarvatmakam atmabhutam kashtha yathanandakaram manastha sa devaki sarvajagan nivasa nivasa bhuta nitaram nareje bhojendra gehe agnishikhe varuddha Saraswati Jnanakhale Yatha Sati. Day and night Kamsa is waiting, sitting, walking, sleeping, eating, all the time Chintayano Rishikesham Apashyat Tanmayam Jagat. He was in the Sambrambha Samadhi. By fear, due to fear, he was in a kind of trance, always Krishna will come, Krishna will come, Krishna will come. At that time, all the devas assembled there and started worshipping the Bhagavan who has entered the first temple. We can call it second temple, the temple of Devaki's Garbhapatra. Very beautiful verse. Satyavratam satyaparam trisatyam Satyasya yonim nihitam cha satye Satyasya satyam rita satya netram Satyatmakam tvam sharanam prapannaha. This verse already I had chanted when I was commenting on Satyam Param Dhimahi. This verse comes here. Bhagavan's vratam is Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam Sambhavami yuge yuge. That vratam is fulfilling, hence they are calling him Satya Vrata. And he is Satya Swarupa. Satyasya Satyam, because of the Satyatva, the reality of the Atman, the self, the world appears to be real. That Satyasya Satyam is a Vedanta Vakya in Upanishad. So here, that also comes. So all the Devatas, they worshipped Bhagavan in Garbhagata Vishnu Stava. This is called Garbhagata Vishnu Stava. After that, on the 8th day, the Ashtami Tithi, Bhagavan is going to take birth. The Kala is Paramashobhana, Paramamangala. That indeed is a good time. That indeed is a good star. That is the blessed moment when you are able to meditate on Him, recollect on Him. Somebody told, there is a Tamil song where Jnana Sambandha. To him, they said time is not good. It's a very wrong time because he was going for a debate with the Jains. They said time is very inauspicious. And he said, for me, the Lord is shining in my heart, so every day is auspicious, every star is auspicious, every moment is auspicious. And he enlists Sunday, Monday, every day, and all the Navagrahas, all are in the right place because Ishvara is shining in my heart. That much confidence, See, that confidence, we can see only the sages, that tremendous confidence. So, here, when Bhagavan is going to take avatara, sarvagunopetaha kala. That kala, that time is with all gunas, paramashobhanaha. And that is the ajana janmarksham. Aja means Brahma. Brahma adhidevata, that is Rohini nakshatra. And also the birthless one, Aja, Abhava, is taking Bhava. Nate abhavasyesha bhavasya karanam. Vina vinodam. As a vinodam, he is going to take birth. And wind, the breeze was very, very soothing, healing. And suddenly the Agni in all the Yagashalas, they without any cause started blazing forth. All the rivers were carrying abundant, pure, tasty water. And flowers blossomed in night, even lotus. And birds, they thought it is the morning time, daytime, started kichi, kuchi, tivadina. All the sounds they were making. And it is Ashtami Tithi. And all those who were struggling to meditate, suddenly they found their mind entering into the heart and attaining Samadhi state. And all Kinnaras and Gandharvas and Vidyadharas were dancing and singing. Devatas were showering flowers from the heavens. And there was no sign of a cloud anywhere. But suddenly the sky was full of dark, heavily water-laden clouds. They came from nowhere. Shankaracharya says Krishna himself is a cloud. And that cloud is full of Nityananda Salilam. Nityananda Sudhanidhehe Adhikata San Neelamekha. That Neelamekha, which carries abundant water of bliss, is Krishna. So that cloud is going to come, but now the sky is full of clouds. It is so dark, dark, dark. Nishite tama udbhute. Generally, many mystics, they had that kind of state before the God realization, before the ultimate experience. In Western mystic language, they call it as dark night of the soul. The soul has no dark night. It is your dark night, your mind, which is in a utter suffering state of longing. In that state, in our Vedas also, in the Nasadiya Sukta, Tama Asit Tamasa Gudhamagre Praketam. Darkness enshrouded by darkness. There, in that night, in that dark night, Devakyam Devarupinyam Vishnu Sarvaguhashayah Avirasid Yatha Prachyam Dishinduri Pushkalaha. Swamiji, we can do an arati in town. Simple arati can be done. एक आरती करने से Krishna Avatara. We will do a simple arati. Nishite tamabudbhute jayamane janardane devakyam devarupinyam vishnu sarvaguhashayah आविरासीद् यथा प्राच्यां दिशि इन्दुरिव पुष्कलः. As a full moon has arisen in the Ashtami Tithi. That is irrational, right? Full moon on the Ashtami Tithi. But this Krishna Chandra has arrived. And what is Krishna? What is Bhagavan? What is the nature of Ishvara? Somebody asked Swami Ramatirtha, you Hindus sometimes say that God is a man, he, a mister. Sometimes he becomes a miss or missus of somebody. Swamiji, please tell whether your God is a mister. So that person asked whether he is a Mr. or Miss. Ramatirtha said, God is neither a Mr. nor a Miss, he is a mystery. He is a mystery. Here Bhagavata says, Adbhutam. Sarvasharyamayo Harihi. He is Sarvasharyamaya. Tamadbhutam Balakam. Akhandananda Swamiji Maharaj says, Balakaha means a little small child, and Balakam means Balarupena Vartamanam Kam. Kam Brahma. Kam is Brahma. It is the Akhanda Sachidananda Vastu. Ananda Rupa Bhagavan Ayite Vatare Prapte Pradipta Bhavadanga Niriyamanaihi Kantivrajairiva Ghana Ghanamandalaidyam Avrunvati Viruruche Kilavarshavela. When that Ashwarya Shishu was born, it was heavily raining, abundant waters pouring forth from the heavens. The entire earth was cleansed with sacred waters. All lightning and thunder and storm and rain. And all Kamsas, these gods, they all were snoring, asleep. Because that lady is born there. Nidra Bhagavati Sakshat. And she made everyone sleep. She makes everyone sleep if that power is there with her. So everyone was asleep. And Kamsa, who had no sleep for so many decades, he also slept. He was also asleep. So, in that state, that Adbhuta Shishu came inside the jail. Inside bondage. It is just like appearance of peace amidst suffering, amidst misery. Like that, Tamadbhudam Balakam, Ambujakshanam, Chaturbhujam, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. One Vaishnava Acharya said, these poor parents, they are inside jail. They have no toys to give to the child. So he brought everything from Vaikuntha. Some going around, something to do pee-pee. Everything he brought from Vaikuntha. Tamadbhudam balagam ambujekshanam chaturbhujam. This chaturbhuja One Acharya gave a very beautiful meaning. He said Chaturbhuja means 4 hands. That is explicit meaning. And he said Chaturbhuk means one who swallows the 4. And the moment Bhagavan appears in your heart, he swallows Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara and Chitta. Everything will be swallowed by him. So he is Chaturbhuk. So Chaturbhujam Shankhagadharyudayudham Srivatsalakshmam Galashobhikaustubham Pitambaram Sandrapayoda Saubhagam Maharhavaidhurya Kirita Kundalatvisha Parishvakta Sahasrakuntalam Uddhamakanchangada Kanganadibihi Virochamanam Vasudeva Aikshata. It was Vasudeva who saw that divine vision first, then only Devaki. It was like an enlightenment to Vasudeva. The moment he saw Bhagavan, it is not that he was seeing a child there, he was seeing Bhagavan as Chaturbhuja Murti, and he was seeing Bhagavan there, and inwardly he was having Atmanubhuti. He was not having, that is the greatness of seeing a divine form. When you see a divine form, you are not seeing the divine form, but outwardly you are seeing the divine form, inwardly you are having the experience of the Chaitanya. Hence Bhattadri said in Narayaniyam, when you look at Guruvayurappan, inwardly you have the experience of the Chit. So Tvad Vapuhu Chidrasardram. You have the form outwardly like anyone. Even a Jivan Mukta is like that. When you meet a Jivan Mukta, in that presence you feel that peace of the self. That Samadhi comes to you so easily by the power of that presence. Many have reported that they had that experience in the presence of Ramana Maharshi. He is sitting there. In all these anecdotes we see, they didn't describe a Maharshi. They described their own experience of self-experience. The power of initiation. That Mauna Diksha. So here seeing Bhagavan, next moment Vasudeva says, Lord, I know that you are the Purusha who is within me as pure consciousness. The word used by him is Kevala Anubhavananda Swarupaha. Viditosi Bhavan Sakshat Purushaha Prakritehe Paraha. No Prakriti at all. We are all full of Prakriti, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. But in you there is no Prakriti. You are free of the bondage of flesh and mind. You are free, ever free of the body and mind. And you are Kevala Anubhavananda Swarupa. Anubhava is the nature of the eye consciousness. When you sit in a dark room, you will not be able to see anyone else. If it's very dark, you will not be able to see whether others are there. You will not be able to see even your own dress, your own body, but you know that you exist. Your existence needs no other light other than its own light. It is Swaprakasha. So Anubhava is the very nature of the self. It is not the Anubhava of the body that you are having. Body you have to sense. Body you have to touch and know. And inside body many things are there we are not aware altogether. But the consciousness is ever felt, always felt as I, as the I am. And that is, Vasudeva says, your form. Aham Atma Gudakesha. Kevala Anubhavananda Swarupaha Sarva Buddhi Drik. You are the Sakshi within everyone, the witness behind the intellect, behind the mind, behind the senses. And you create the entire world as it happens in the dream. And you are the illumining principle behind, O Lord. He speaks like a Paramavedanti. And there is a very powerful verse. Vasudeva says, without that inner consciousness, O Lord, world does not exist. If someone says that devoid of the self-experience they are able to see the world, he is a fool. Ya atmanaha drishya guneshu sannidhi vyavasyate swavyatirekataha abudha. He is a abudha, he is a fool. There is no astitva, existence for anything apart from the existence of the self. It is the existence of the consciousness which is felt everywhere in every name and form. So Lord, you are that existence, that sadvastu. All these things Vasudeva told. See, devotees will feel very dry. Why? Krishna is just born, so beautiful. Dark cloud, like a dark cloud, he is there. Narayaniyam Bhattadri says, Anandarupa Bhagavan Aite, enna and slogan? Ashasu Shitalatarasu Payoda Toyihi Ashasitapti Vivasheshu Jasajjaneshu Naishakarodaya Vidhau Nishimadhyamayam Kleshapahastri Jagatam Twamiha Virasihi Balyasprashapi Vapusha Dadusha Vibhudihi Udyat Kirita Katakangadaha Rabhasa Shankari Vari Jagata Paribhasitena Meghasitena Parilesita Sutigehe Vakshastali Sukanilina Vilasi Lakshmi Mandaksha Lakshita Kataksha Vimoksha Bhedaihi Tan Mandirasya Khalakam Sakritam Alakshmim Unmarjayaniva Virejita Vasudeva Shauristu Dhira Munimandala Chetasopi Durasthitam Vapurudikshya Nijekshanabhyam Ananda Bashpa Pulagodgada Gadgadardraha Tushtava Drishti Makaranda Rasam Bhavantam. Very beautiful. That Shauri, that Vasudeva, who was such a courageous, brave person, Shauristu, Dhira Muni Bandala Chetasopi, Durasthitam Vapurudikshya, that form which is manifest in a distance, looking at that, Ananda Bashpa Pulagodgada Gadgadardraha. So much Ananda Bashpa, tears of bliss came from his eyes, and Pulaka, Romanja, his body was full of goosebumps, horripilation. And then Gadgada came. This throat was just, with emotion, it was, sound changed. Became ardra, melting. And Tushtava Drishtimakaranda Rasam Bhavandam Deva Prasida Parapurusha Tapavalli Nirlunidatra Samanetra Kala Vilasin Khedanapa Guru Kripa Guru Bhikkatakshihi Ityadi Tena Muditena Chiram Nutobhuhu. Very beautiful verses. But here Vasudeva speaks all Brahma Sutra, profound Vedanta Shastra. So all the devotees said, let him keep quiet, let the mother wake up. She knows how to fondle the baby. Then Devaki woke up, looked at Bhagavan there, and she opened her mouth. Rupam yattat prahuhu avyaktam adyam brahma jyotihi nirgunam nirvikaram sattamatram nirvishesham niriham sattvam sakshad Vishnuhu adhyatma deepaha. She just went a step ahead of Vasudeva. If this verse you listen, pure Vedanta. Rupam yattat prahuhu avyaktam. The form is vyaktam, but she says avyaktam. Brahma, what? That which is called as Brahma by the Upanishad. Jyotihi, it is the Swayam Jyoti, Swayam Prakasha. Nirgunam, it is not Saguna form, it is Nirgunam, he says. Although it appears as Sagunam, she says Sagunam means that which is tarnished by gunas. Nirgunam means that which is not tarnished by gunas. People think that Nirguna means tasteless. It is pure bliss, rasaswarupa. So Nirgunam, Nirvikaram, no vikara, kama, krodha, lobha, nothing is there. Satta matram, pure Satchidananda, existence. Nirvishesham, no adjective can be given. Niriham, untouched by disease. Sattvam Sakshat Vishnu Adhyatma Deepa. You are the Adhyatma Deepa. You are the Jnana Prakasha, O Lord. That is all. And then Bhagavan said, Vasudeva, Devaki, the first Upadesha in Krishna Avatar. It comes here. It is the essence of all the spiritual literature. Krishna says, in last 2 births, I was born as your son. As Prishnigarbha and also as Vamana. Then you both failed to attain Jnanam because you were attached to me only as your son. This life, I have resolved to give you liberation. But you have to do Jnana Vicharam. So I will give you a clue. This is the teaching. Very profound shloka. Inside the jail came that teaching. Krishna says, you can have all the attachments. In Gita he says, give up all attachment. Here says, have all attachment. Treat me as your child. Let all the love be there. It is a treasure. Love is an energy. Attachment is an energy. Only when that energy is there, you will be full. So let it be there. Yuvam putra bhavena. Be attached to me as putra. But very often meditate that, add one more bhava into it, that Brahma bhavena. Brahma bhava first will come only as a thinking, not as experience. So chintayantau. Putra bhava is natural, sneha, krita snehau. You have putra bhava sneha, Brahma bhava chintana, putra bhava sneha, Brahma bhava chintana. Let both mix together. Yuvam putra bhavena, Brahma bhavena, chintayantau krita snehau, chintayantau krita snehau, yasyete madgatim param. Then your attachment, which can lead you to bondage, will soon be transmuted as samadhi experience. No more will it be attachment. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, one devotee said, Thakur, I want to worship Krishna, go to Vrindavan and do tapas. But I am not able to give up my attachment to my grandson. Ramakrishna said, doesn't matter, have all the attachment. Love that child. Do alankara to that child like Krishna. Keep a peacock feather in his head. Worship him as Krishna. Consider him as Bala Gopala. Make it a meditation. Such meditation generally might not be possible, but when it comes from the Upadesha of a Sadguru, that power enters there, and attachment, as Ramakrishna did it with Sharada Devi also. His own wife, he transformed her as Divine Mother by worshipping her as Divine Mother. So, all our family relationship, certain people they are destined to renounce. But if you are not destined to renounce, divinize it. Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. Fill everything with Bhagavan. Look again and again and again. Avarti rasa kardupatesha, as Vyasa Bhagavan says, again and again do the avarti, that it is all Brahman, it is all Atman, it is all Atman. Then that meditation will gain energy, will gain power, and slowly the effect will be seen. Slowly the power will manifest, and soon you will start feeling that Bhagavat Tattva everywhere. Even Swami Vivekananda used to say that more I grow old, that I find that this is the secret. I see that Brahman has manifested everywhere. You have to only call it to wake up, to see it there. So this is the highest experience of every jnani, that with open eyes, they are in samadhi, beholding the man, woman, everything as Atma, Tvam Stri, Tvam Pumanasi, Tvam Kumara, Utava Kumari, everywhere, everything is Bhagavan. Sakalam Harehe Shariram. So that kind of Upadesha was given by Krishna to Vasudeva, his father and his mother inside the jail. That Upadesha, if we take and live, our life will be fulfilled. And after this, Krishna said, take me to Gokulam. The very first day the travel began. Until his last day, no rest in Krishna avatar. He said, rest is in the self, the body, no rest. The body is always dynamic, but the inner world, there is absolute rest. Karmani akarmayah pashyed akarmani cha karmayah. That was Krishna avatar. That very night, cold night, showering rain. In that rain, Krishna told Vasudeva, take me. Abject obedience. Vasudeva did not think whether there is an umbrella, because this child is just born, newly born. Suddenly he became a child. And father, parents, they said, become a child, otherwise Kamsa will come. And he put him in the basket. Suddenly all the bondage, the chains, they were tied up, they were all gone. The door opened. See, when you have an instruction from Bhagavan or even from Sadguru, your logical brain will say it is not possible, very difficult. But you have to just walk, things will go on, happening. The rain was there, he was just walking with the child in the head, and it was the concern of Ananta. That Mahavishnu in Vaikunta, he has a 2-in-1, bed and umbrella both same. So they became concerned. These Devas, Brahma, everyone came and called him to Bhumi. And now it is raining. There is no rain in Vaikuntha. And he will get cold. We should take care of him. So the divine umbrella came, that Sahasra Vadana, that Adishesha came, and no drop of rain fell on Vasudeva. He walked, and Yamuna was in spate, fled. That Murari is there in the basket. He put his leg down. Yamuna arose up to Vasudeva's nose and touched Krishna's feet. And Shankaracharya, as we saw, told, that moment Yamuna became black. Murarikaya kalima lalama varidharini trinikrita trivishtapa triloka shokaharini manonukula kula kunja punja dhuta durmada dhunodu me manomalam kalinda nandini sada jalachyutachyutangara galampadali shalini Vilola Kachanta Champakali Malini Sadavagahanavatirna Bhartribhritya Naradam Dhunodume Manomalam Kalinda Nandini Sada. Yamuna gave way. Vasudeva walked to Gokula, placed Krishna there. Everyone were sleeping there also. Even the woman who gave birth to that child, that girl, that daughter there, Yashoda. Yashodama was also sleeping. Because this daughter, Mahamaya, made everybody sleep. Kalaratrir, Maharatrir, Moharatri, says Devi Mahatmyam. And this Krishnavatar is Moharatri. She just deluded everybody and were asleep. Hence, they were not aware even whether the born child is a girl or boy. So this boy was kept there, that girl was accepted, moved back and went back to Mathura. Then she gave out a cry, calling Kamsa, Kamsa. And all people woke up, so loud a cry, that Bhadrakali you can see, with open mouth. screaming. Then the news went to Kamsa. He came with a sword to kill the child. Devaki said, no, 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 she is a girl. Girl? Kamsa was baffled because so many years I was waiting for a girl. Even these devas have started bluffing. Deivamapi anritam vakti, he says. It's all. Dharma is gone. He wanted to kill the child. Still, he was not ready to forego because he was now in confusion. Narada said, mathematics changes. Who knows about gender? What gender these devas have? He took the child and was about to blast it there. Suddenly, she escaped from his grasp like a flame, like a light, like effulgence, and the radiance was spread out everywhere. She stood there with all her 8 hands full of weapons. Ashtau bhujangi mahishasya mardhinim sashanka chakram sharashula sarinim tam divya yogim sahajata vedasim Durgam sada sharanamaham prabadhi, and said, you fool, don't torture these devotees. Your Antaka, the one who is destined to kill you, is already born somewhere and disappeared. Thus, we will close this evening session with Divine Mother in our heart, and we will continue in night session 8 o'clock. Krishna Avatara, Krishna Leela. This also we will have only concise form, but that is how it's a small Bhagavatam. So we will continue in the night. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Yato mamatma bhavasi tvameva tato na vachyam mama kinchidasti yathata vishtam kurumam tathaiva tvam atmanatham ramanam bhajami.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. 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 Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai.
Mm-hmm.